just mentioned a couple of seconds ago, we're about to meet a New Orleans couple who don't have that luxury. They're both deaf, and as you're about to find out, are leading a more normal life with the help of a hearing ear dog.
To most people, a telephone ring, a doorbell, or the buzz from a smoke alarm are sounds that are usually taken for granted and sometimes can be quite irritating. But to Oreo, these sounds represent a purpose in life. You see, Oreo is a hearing dog. Now, you may have heard of seeing eye dogs, which for years have been used in making life easier for the blind. Well, Oreo is one of about 200 dogs in this country, especially trained to aid persons who are deaf. When she came into the lives of Kathleen and Boyd Arrington a little over 3 months ago, she became the first hearing dog ever to be used in the state of Louisiana. Kathleen Arrington lost her hearing when she was 3 months old. Her husband Boyd has been deaf since birth. Sounds as pleasant as those of children at play were never heard, and for important sounds like that of a doorbell or a telephone ring, they depended on flashing lights to alert them. But of course, sometimes the flashing lights went unperceived, and that doorbell or telephone call never got a response. Then Kathleen discovered she was pregnant. All of a sudden, the Arringtons' lack of hearing became a critical issue. Unanswered doorbells or telephone calls may not have been a cause for major alarm in the past, but a cry from their future baby was something they felt could never be neglected. About that time, Boyd and Kathleen were informed by a friend about a school in Colorado that trains hearing dogs. They discovered the dogs, which undergo 3 months of intensive training, are of no particular breed, but expensive to train and therefore quite scarce. The cost for one dog is $2,800. In order to qualify for one, the applicant has to furnish proof that he or she is totally deaf and that no hearing person lives in the same house. The Arringtons applied for a dog, but now admit they never could have afforded one without the help of a Lions youth group who raised the money for them. Oreo, a lovable mixture of Labrador and Dalmatian, arrived just 3 weeks before the birth of Brady Arrington. Now, before Oreo's trainer could leave her in her new home, it was necessary to help dog and masters get acclimated to each other. Although Oreo had already received her formal training at Hearing Dog Incorporated, the only school of its type in the country, Kathleen and Boyd had to learn to train her in their own home. After 5 days, they were left to function on their own. But training still goes on daily as Boyd teaches Oreo different commands in sign language. Kathleen's mother, Mrs. Jerry Fitzpatrick, explains just how responsive Oreo is.
He tells the dog just to sit, and he'll walk away. Usually maybe the dog might follow him, but if he tells him to sit, stay there, the dog will stay there.
To most dogs, a biscuit might be sufficient reward for their efforts, but to Oreo, being the special type of dog that she is, well, she's earned a bright orange collar as a symbol of her achievements. She received it after a 3-month trial period when she officially became a certified hearing dog. So what exactly does Oreo do for a living? Well, let's say Kathleen is deeply engrossed in a magazine article. Only with the help of Oreo would she know that Brady had turned over in his crib and was uncomfortable. Or suppose Mom and Dad are enjoying a few peaceful moments with their newborn son, who, by the way, has perfect hearing, and Grandma came to call. No longer would that doorbell go unanswered because of an undetected flashing light. If you've never been inside a deaf person's home, you may not be familiar with the method by which they conduct telephone conversations. With the aid of a teletypewriter such as this one, the message is transmitted through the receiver and typed out. Likewise, Kathleen can answer it, and she says since Oreo has become part of the family, she no longer misses any of her calls. And part of the family she is indeed. Everywhere the Arringtons go, Oreo follows. Now, since Oreo is the first dog of its kind in Louisiana, the state has not yet passed an equal rights law for hearing dogs. This regulation would permit dogs such as Oreo to accompany their masters to public places where pets are not usually permitted. However, the Arringtons are quickly finding out that people in general are understanding of their situation and eager to make exceptions for this special animal.
Good evening, welcome to Denny's. I'm afraid you can't bring your dog in here. Thank you. I see. Okay, would you follow me this way, please?
And how did the Arringtons like having Oreo around? Well, perhaps that can best be explained in the words of Kathleen's mother, who interpreted her daughter's feelings this way.
Feels like she has two babies this year instead of one.